organizations and liens specified. That's it for tonight.
Thank you. Any other discussion, or anybody would like to say anything on that? If not, do I hear a motion to close? Motion's been made by Member Scott and seconded by Perez. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. Closed session is adjourned.
City Manager Tanya, please.
Present.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, all present and accounted for. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. It will be led by former Mayor Pro Tem and current member, Andy Caraceres. Right hand over your heart, ready to begin. This time, we'll do the invocation that will be done by Jose Vendel, Rialto United Methodist Church.
Yes. Gracious and loving God, Almighty Father, we ask for your blessings as we begin this City Council meeting. We trust in your grace, in your power. You are the God of wisdom, God of love, God of compassion. As we gather to do the business of our community, we pray, O God, for your blessings upon the members of this City Council and all of us as we gather, acknowledging that we are your people and you are our God in whom we trust. Be with us, we pray, in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. This time, we'll move on to oral communications. Are there any individuals that have requested oral communication?
Yes. Victoria Quisenberg. Yeah, I don't know what this. Good evening.
Oh, excuse me, I should have called on the city attorney's report from closed session, and then we'll move back on to you.
I'll do this quickly, Mayor. You had two primary items on your closed session this evening. You had three existing items of litigation. You reviewed those with the city attorney's office. You gave direction. There's no reportable action on those items. And you also had a discussion with your labor negotiators. You did give direction to them, but there was no reportable action on that item. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So at this time, we'll go back to oral communications. Could you please state your name?
Good evening. My name is Victoria Quisenberry, and I am here tonight as a concern. I'm not only here as a concerned resident, but as a plaintiff in a civil complaint filed against the city of Rialto. The complaint centers around what we know as to be a systematic pattern of unpermitted development. There are 41 unpermitted structures, also known as lots, including the property we were induced to purchase in May of 2003, under the false pretense that it was fully legal and properly approved, which it was not. And the 41 lots were also mentioned in a planning commission meeting on March 6, 2024, when Paul Gonzalez was asked about an email he sent regarding 41 lots, which is a violation of the Brown Act and the Public Records Request Act, because we requested the copy of the email that was sent about the 41 lots. The structure we purchased was built without permits, in clear violation of the Rialto's general plan zoning ordinance and California Government Code 65850-65857. Even today, the city official documents still classify the land as vacant, while illegal structures remain standing and in use. We are demanding a public investigation into all 41 unpermitted structures, immediate correction of the general plan, zoning maps, and public databases, full disclosure of who approved, who ignored these developments, and when. Let me be clear. This is no longer just a zoning issue. This is a legal, ethical, and financial liability for the city of Rialto, one that will only grow the longer it is ignored. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next person we have to speak is Stephanie Kane.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Kane, and I'm a partner of Victoria Quisenberry's. We've been together for 22 years. We've been living in Rialto for 22 years. We've enjoyed our living here for 22 years, up until we discovered that where we live is totally contaminated. This is reprehensible. This is illegal, and it's not fair. We purchased this place with the knowledge that it was real property, and it had all the effects of real property. It looks like a real property, and it had suppose it had inspections done. Never had inspections done. I even seen we ran into your city clerk at the county recorder's office. She stated that the 41 units was not in the city of Rialto. But come to find out, they are in the city of Rialto. And we have been living at 1173 South Cactus and unit number 3 for 22 years. I feel sick to my stomach. I am very sick right now because of the fact that the place is contaminated with asbestos. We've asked the city many times, not even just come in here to vent. This is not just to vent. This is a public request. Please come out to these units and investigate. We hated to file against the city because we care about people. You know, this is something that we have to do because we have been defrauded and deceived, and we relied on the city to take care of us. And it's not fair because of the fact that we have been made pawns. And it's not right. Just think, it could be you in my position. What would you do? And how would you feel? You'd be very upset paying over $1,400 a month and then paying HOAs for 22 years, $230 a month. Come to find out, you don't even have a place to stay because you have people coming to your house and saying, guess what? You got a 3-day notice, but all of a sudden, we supposed to be saying, oh, this is our home, and we bought it. Then next thing you know, there's 22 fraudulent deeds in our names, and we have great credit. We had great credit before we moved here. Now we have zero credit. We can't even look at our credit right now because we've been cyber hacked. This is just totally reprehensible. It's not right, it's not fair. I'm not here to vent, I'm here to get an answer. We came here on April 9th, 2024. It was a different mayor, Mayor Robertson. She approved our restitution. Mr. Vail even doubled down on that and requested is C1, tab C1 approved. C1 was our number, it was approved. We have not had one response from the city. Not one response. It's 41 people over there. There's 41 units over there. There's families over there. These are contaminated places. You know, these are contaminated places. Basically, your own city map says they're vacant land. The general plan says vacant land. So basically, no one even knows that we're there. And our money has been going where? For 22 years, our money has been going where? To who? We've been deceived and with fake papers saying that we've gotten mortgage statements and things like that. We don't have any mortgage statements. There's no lender. You know, you could have your mom there, your daughter there, or anybody else there, or even yourself. Put yourself in our position. That's all I tell you. Come to this place, put yourself in our position. This place needs to be investigated. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe we'll, our community development director can get together with you and look at making sure that it's within the city of Rialto. Second of all is if it's contaminated, that we should be able to look at making sure that we take care of that too as well, and get the appropriate bodies or people to make sure that there is no further contamination in that area. Sorry that it's taken that long, but hopefully we can take some kind of action and then reply back to you. Thank you.
That's all we ask.
Any other?
No. Everything else is, no, I'm sorry. I have one more. I'm assuming just oral communication, Abraham? Oh, it's just oral communications?
No, I just wanted to open the forum and talk to council. Good evening, council, honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor. My name's Abraham Gallegos. I'm with Teamsters Local 1932. We represent 16,000 members here in the Inland Empire, representing proudly the TMMU unit here in the city. I wanted to come and formally introduce myself to you and really thank the city for the hospitality. I've attended numerous events here at the city. The Easter egg hunt extravaganza was an amazing event. I want to just say thank you to your staff. My little boy went out there and got some eggs, and kids are kids, so the older kids took all the eggs. My little one ended up with 2, and your staff came over and gave him an extra couple of eggs for him to open up. That's wonderful. The barbecue, congratulations to PD again on winning that trophy. That was an awesome event as well. I know sometimes we don't hear it, but I want to say that coming to this city, it really does feel like a community that is well taken care of and really respected by the council. So I want to formally thank you for that, just from the outside looking in. I live in the city of Ontario, a different dynamic there, but seeing you guys at these events really does resonate with me. Seeing the love and support that you guys give to the community at these events, showing up, it really does mean a lot. With Teamsters Local 1932, again, we represent 16,000 members here in the Inland Empire. I want to kind of share what our organization also brings to the table. We do have a radio station or a radio network that is available to the city as well, or city employees, where we highlight our membership, the jobs that they do, because public sector jobs are a thankless job. We don't think twice when we turn on a water, or when we turn on the gas, or we worry about, is my building up to code? If something catches fire, we don't worry about those items because public sector takes care of that. The jobs that our membership does or do every day, the community does not have to worry about if I call 911, is somebody going to pick up, because of the direction that council is giving, because of the direction that the chief is giving, and the fire chief as well. So again, thank you for that as well. We also have a training center. We're right now in collaborations with the city of Fontana, Jesse Almendarez's office, to bring some foster care youth out of the system, giving them training in public sector jobs and opening up a career path at a very young age in the community service development. And we'd love to open that door up to the city as well. Those are our most vulnerable and at-risk youth. We'd love to support them as well. We also have, the training center does a year-round, well, not year-round, every quarter we do a field trip for the kids, and we show them the jobs that public sector does. Unions are always, every time you think of a union, you think of a job of warehouse, you think of a job of trucking, you think of a job of construction, but you don't think of the jobs that our members do in accounting, superior courts, water, distribution. You look at 911 dispatchers, those are our true members, and those are the public servants that serve our communities. So we open that up to you as well. We have a great program called Teamster Advantage, where we partner with local businesses to give our members discounts. We have over 1,000 businesses that we promote through our app, and we share with our members and say shop locally, because those tax dollars come right back to the community and help serve the community that we're in. So I want to make sure that I open those eyes for you guys to see what else Teamsters does, right? Or what else we're doing. We're also going ahead and opening up our own healthcare clinics. And this is very important because healthcare is becoming way overpriced. It's saturated the market. You go to Kaiser, you're looking for a primary care physician 3-4 months out. You go in there, you have a laptop that tells you what's wrong with you. At our clinics, it's going to be just for our membership, and we're going to start opening them up, with the first one being in San Bernardino, next one low desert, next one high desert, and then hopefully either in here or in Fontana is where we're opening up the next clinics as well. So those are going to just be for our membership. And we do have a privatized healthcare system that our county members are in, and we're opening it up to other agencies as well, because we know the cost to healthcare is extremely high, and it's something that the cities need to take a look at as well. So with that, I just wanted to introduce myself, leave you guys with some cards. Chief. Oh, thank you, Shama. And feel free to reach out. I'm available 24/7. I know I've spoken with a couple of people here, and again, thank you for your hospitality. And I look forward to serving the members here at the city.
Thank you very much for your presentation and awareness of what the Teamster is doing. Thank you. Any other oral communications?
No, Ms. Miller. All the rest of them is for tab 2 that I have.
Before we move on to the agenda, I'd like to just make a comment in reference to oral communications. I know that at the last mayor's report, I indicated that we should create a veterans memorial. I just wanted to make sure that we do follow up and we do a feasibility study and find out exactly what our costs would be, and that Rialto now is moving forward in having a Veterans Memorial to recognize many of our men and women who have served our country, and to thank them, because we do have an excellent Memorial Day event that's put on by our clerk, Barbara McGee, and the committee that's involved during that time. So I just wanted to mention that to make sure that we do follow up on that. And hopefully that we can do some research too as well. I know I've mentioned it for the last 2.5 years. I still like to see the Wi-Fis at our parks. I think it's important for our community to know that there is an ability for them to utilize the Wi-Fi without having to go to any other place to use the Wi-Fi. So this way, if they went with parents or kids, the kids would be able to do their homework, or parents will be able to look at Wi-Fis while they're there at the parks. I know many other parks have had them. I've just seen one that's just been done in Bloomington. There's no reason why we can't have some right here. Last but not least, I wanted to just make a comment in reference to the Supreme Court's decision that was done. I'm really appalled at the Supreme Court decision in reference to the immigration that is done. I believe that it really puts many of our people in a very difficult situation. I think Rialto wants to create a climate where the citizens feel free and safe and want to live without fear. And I think too many people today are living in fear because of the decision that has been made in reference to the stereotype that is done if you speak another language. There's 4 of us here on the diocese that could ultimately be picked up because we look different than someone else. Well, actually 5, actually 6, if I go down to the bottom. And if I go down to this side, maybe additional ones too as well. But I think that what is happening at the national level, that we should all be very much concerned because we want to live in a country that is free, has democracy, and that everybody is treated equally and fairly and not based on their color of skin. You know, the Lord says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And we've got to remember that phrase in regards to regardless of their background. And so I take that phrase from the Bible, and sometimes we forget that. So I just wanted to say that hopefully that we can come up with some kind of a policy. in the future, or looking at some kind of a resolution that's impacting a lot of our people, because we want to make sure that our city is safe and our city has a good climate, and citizens feel free to go to any place, whether they go to a playground, they go to a church, or they go to a movie theater, or wherever they're at. We want to make sure that they go there without feeling any kind of fear. And with that, I just conclude my statement. Would like to move on now to the consent items. Is there any member that wishes to pull any of the items from the consent item? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to
Before we
approve?
go forward, Mayor, F3 is a correction for the resolution. The number will be 8407 for F3.
Okay, on F3, the correction is there, so
Yes, I'm making the correction in my notes, so.
thank you very much. Okay, now, back to the consent item. Is there any item that any member wishes to pull from the consent item? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the consent item? Motion's been made by Andy Conaceres, seconded by Carla Perez. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. The consent item is approved. Now we'll move on to tab 1.
Thank you, Mayor. Call Andy Crowe for a brief presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. This evening, I am requesting that the City Council conduct a public hearing for the placement of liens for delinquent refuse collection accounts for the first quarter of 2025. On August 26, 2025, City Council opened and continued the public hearing for this evening, September 9th, to review and consider the placement of liens related to delinquent refuse. New notices were mailed to the owners of the property shown on Attachment 1 on August 19th of 2025. At this time, I would request that the City Council conduct a public hearing, take public testimony, and consider the placement of liens against the delinquent properties identified on Exhibit A of the resolution. Adopt Resolution 8395, authorizing the filing of liens against the properties for delinquent refuse accounts with the San Bernardino County Auditor Controller Recorder's Office. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Are there any questions from members of the audience in reference to the public hearing? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing? Motion's been made. Second. Motion's been made by Andy Conaceres, seconded by Edward Montoya, Councilmember Edward Montoya. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to tab 2.
Mr. Mayor, move
We
approval
need to
of
make
tab
action.
item number 1, resolution
Second.
number 8395.
Motion's been made by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott to approve it, and seconded by Andy Conaceres. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. At this point, we'll go back to item number 2. Tab 2.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm Daniel Casey, Principal Planner, and I'll be giving the presentation on tab 2 tonight, which is in regard to consideration of ordinance number 1703, which would amend Chapter 18112, indoor storage uses of the Rialto Municipal Code to incorporate state-mandated provisions from Assembly Bill 98. So I'll just go through a quick presentation here. Just starting with some background, the city of Rialto really is a forerunner when it comes to regulations for industrial warehouse facilities and the like. Specifically in January of 2021, the City Council adopted ordinance number 1653, which established or created Chapter 18112, indoor storage uses. That chapter includes regulations for indoor storage facilities, which is really an all-encompassing term for warehouses, fulfillment centers, and other buildings that are often referred to as logistics facilities. And that ordinance put in place siting criteria where these types of facilities could be located, certain architectural criteria, setback criteria, also regulations on truck traffic, just through to ensure that these sites do not impact city streets and surrounding areas. That said, then in September of 2024, Governor Gavin Newsom signed Assembly Bill 98 into law that effectively created state-mandated provisions for logistics facilities. Included in Assembly Bill 98, it identified the city of Rialto as being within a warehouse concentration region. And as a part of that, cities within that warehouse concentration region need to incorporate the provisions of Assembly Bill 98 into their municipal code no later than January 1st of 2026. So staff, being aware of this, has coordinated with the city attorney's office over the last several months to develop an ordinance for consideration before the city council that would do just that. And so I'll go through briefly what some of those provisions are that are in the ordinance before you tonight. So first off, the ordinance would amend section 18.112.020 to include new terms that are required by AB 98 and then provide definitions for those terms. The new terms that would be added to the municipal code are logistics facility, which effectively be designed as a building that's used for the purpose of storing and distributing cargo and goods, and that primarily uses heavy trucks to do so. The next term that'll be added is expansion of an indoor storage facility, and what that is that any existing indoor storage facility, whether it's a warehouse, a fulfillment center, that proposes an addition that is 20% of the existing floor area or more would constitute an expansion of an indoor storage facility. The next term is a sensitive receptor. This will define all-inclusive. A residential area will be a sensitive receptor. Existing dwelling, schools, public parks, hospitals will all be defined as a sensitive receptor. There'll also be a term heavy-duty truck, and the definition for that, which is based on effectively the weight of the vehicle. Then the next term will be 21st century warehouse design. This is a definition that includes 21st century includes the necessity for indoor storage facilities to meet current energy standards, also to provide conduit and electrical hookups at all loading bays that will service cold storage. Also ensure that indoor storage facilities have high efficiency ventilation, air conditioning, and heating. And then also ensure that all forklifts and small engine or small powered equipment are zero emission by January of 2030. The next term is Tier 1 21st century. And Tier 1 21st century warehouse design includes all the items of the 21st century warehouse design, but also includes mandating that indoor storage facilities include the installation of photovoltaic solar at these facilities, also smart microgrid metering, and also at least 50% of all passenger vehicle parking spaces at an indoor storage facility need to have conduit for future electric charging stations, and then at least 10% of those parking spaces have the charging stations installed upon initial development. Moving on here, the next section proposed to be amended is section 18.112.030. This is the applicability section of the chapter. There'll be some language modified to state what projects are these provisions are applicable to. Essentially, any development application that was filed after September 29th, 2024, which is the effective date of AB 98, they will be subject to these new provisions. Any development application that is still being processed by the city that was filed before that date will continue to be processed under the previous provisions of ordinance number 1653. Then the next section that would be amended in that chapter is section 18.112.040. This will require some additional siting criteria that basically requires all indoor storage facilities, so again, warehouses, logistics facilities, fulfillment centers, that they will need to be located along streets that are arterial in class, collector, or local streets that predominantly serve commercial uses. And then this is the final section of the municipal code that would be amended, and this is really the meat of AB 98. These are the development standards that are required. So amending section 18.112.050, there will be 3 new sections added. One, the first one I'm going to go over here, pertains to buildings that are less than 250,000 square feet in size on existing industrial zoned land that are within 900 feet of a sensitive receptor. And so the provisions that will be added to the municipal code are that these facilities need to orient their truck loading bays away from the sensitive receptor. They'll need to locate all their truck access, both the driveways in and out and all internal driveways away from sensitive receptors. These facilities will also need to have a 50-foot buffer where they are adjacent to any sensitive receptor. They will also need to meet certain energy requirements as far as solar installation, cool roofing, charging readiness for medium and heavy duty, and then actually charging station installation for light duty vehicles. Electrical conduit at the loading bays for cold storage, and then, as I previously mentioned, with some of those tier or 21st century elements, the high efficiency heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and then also separate entrances for the heavy duty trucks. The next criteria pertains specifically to buildings that are 250,000 square feet or more, so larger in size, but still on an existing industrial zoned piece of land and within 900 feet of a sensitive receptor. So these types of facilities will need to incorporate all of the Tier 1 21st century design elements. And then effectively, all the other requirements are the same as the buildings that are less than 250,000 square feet. So again, orienting the loading bays away, the separate entrances for trucks, and then also that 50-foot buffer. And then the next section, this pertains to any size indoor storage facility that is proposed to be located on land that is not currently zoned industrial, that as a part of the project is proposed to be rezoned. And if that facility is also to be within 900 feet of a sensitive receptor. And so if the building is 250,000 square feet or more in size, it will need to meet the Tier 1 21st century warehouse design elements. If it's less than 250,000, it'll need to meet the 21st century design elements. And then again, the rest of the criteria are effectively the same as those other ones I mentioned. However, the one difference is that the buffer increases to 100 feet, from 50 feet to 100 feet for those facilities. Then just continuing on this next slide, there are a few general items that will apply to all of the above, no matter what their size is, no matter whether they're on an existing industrial zone or they're proposing a zone change. And that is that any new indoor storage facility that includes the demolition of housing will need to have a 2-to-1 replacement of that demolished housing that was on site if it was occupied within the last 10 years. And that any of those replacement housing units would need to be deed restricted to low or moderate income families only. Any tenants that get displaced from the demolition of housing will need to be provided an equivalent of 12 months rent at the current rate. As it pertains to some design criteria, all new truck courts will need to have their entry gate set back a minimum of 70 feet from the public right-of-way. That's to ensure that a truck can get completely off of the street and on site so that they don't back up into a street as they queue. And that there's another little caveat there that they'll need to provide an additional 70 feet of stacking for every 20 loading bays beyond 50. And the last two items that will be incorporated into the municipal code are a requirement that signage be provided at all the truck exits that direct the trucks leaving the facilities to the nearest truck route. And then lastly, the anti-idling signs will need to be installed at all truck court entrances and loading bays to ensure that the engines are not running while the trucks are parked. I will note one thing there is one minor correction that would need to be made. It's on page 4 of the ordinance, line 11. One of the sections in there has an incorrect number. It says 18.112.020. That will need to be changed to 18.112.030. That's the only correction, though, that I need to address with the council. And then with that, staff recommends that the City Council conduct a public hearing and then introduce ordinance number 1703. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, so at this time, do we have any members from the audience that would like to address this item? that have signed up? Madam Clerk?
Four people. We can just make my notes to change that.
Okay.
We have, it's Jesus. Do we have Jesus Minder? Okay, Minderenda.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I wanted to come and speak regarding the warehouse moratorium. That's okay. So I understand that August 26th was the last date for the old one. However, moving forward, I would really like all of you to take a look at your current city, neighboring cities, and the Inland Empire as a whole. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but our neighbor San Bernardino actually just ranked the #1 for the second year in a row, ranking the worst city in the entire country in regards of air pollution, air quality, and all that good stuff. Knowing this, I ask, how will you move forward? Is it going to be following their footsteps and implementing a lot of warehouses? Or what will it be? So, I'd like to say the Inland Empire is the high school to warehouse pipeline, because what else do our leaders do but put warehouses within our communities? Ontario and San Bernardino are a prime example of that. I personally grew up in Ontario, and I've seen it grow over 700 warehouses in my lifetime, which is crazy, insane. I work with kids, and I always look at them, and I'm like, you don't know what you're getting into, but the only jobs you're going to be able to offer are warehouse work, which is not good paying, it's backbreaking, and nobody can afford to live on their own, let alone raise a family with that kind of work. It's not hard to dream, and it's not hard to know what's right and wrong. And personally, I know what's right for the communities and what they deserve. They deserve better working conditions and living conditions, and they deserve the same access to a good, clean life and opportunities just like any other white and wealthier area has. Because you'll never go into these areas that have our demographic of black and brown people, Latinos and all that, and see the same you would see in Ontario, San Bernardino, and honestly, probably even here in Rialto at some point. And it's not hard to sit here and critically think what else can create jobs. A perfect example from what I've seen and personally been to is the Huntington Botanical Library and Gardens. This is located in San Marino, not too far from here, but it feels like an entirely different area. And all it is a huge plot of land dedicated to art and history museums, cafes, gardens, gift shops, restaurants, other just little shops and miscellaneous vendors. And when I see how good people can have it, I wonder why is it only people who live in a wider neighborhood areas and that have more wealth when we're loaded with wealth here. It may not be financially, but Rialto and all our cities are really community-based and community-oriented. And I really do believe that somewhere in the Inland Empire deserves something similar to this. Just a huge plot of land dedicated to art, history, museums, gardens, plants that kids can only dream of seeing, especially the kids that live over here in our communities, cafes, coffee shops, restaurants, and so on. Personally, I don't believe a good majority of the Inland Empire leaders have the best interests of their communities in mind, just from that's what I've been seeing. However, I see our communities and I see our people, and I know they deserve better, and they know they deserve better. While they might not all have the time to be at these meetings, because as you can see, the demographic of your community, hardworking people, they're usually not filling this room up. They should be though, but they don't have the time. Whether it's because they're raising families or needing to work these 2-3 jobs, they just do not have the time or access to be here. But I know you, the crowd knows that, and you know that all of us do deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to address us?
Yes, we have Claudia. Is Claudia here?
Claudia?
Hola, muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Claudia Cuevas
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Claudia Cuevas.
y como siempre vengo representando el Centro Comunitario de Acción y Justicia Ambiental.
And like always, I come representing the Center for Community Action.
Queremos por favor pedirles que apoyen la AB 98.
We want you to support the act before you.
Como acabamos de ver ahorita en la presentación,
Like we're going to see in this presentation,
tenemos muchas cosas que apoyarían y cuidarían a nuestra comunidad.
we see a lot of things that would support and enrich our community.
La semana pasada que venimos a hacer preguntas, a cuestionar qué ocurría con nuestra ciudad,
Last week, when we came and questioned what was happening to our city,
es hora que todavía no recibimos respuesta.
we still have not received a response.
Aquí se preguntó que qué pasaba, por qué no se le dio información a la comunidad.
Here we asked, why was the information not given to the community?
Y es muy triste que nosotros como organización,
It's sad that us as an organization,
cada que tocamos las puertas de nuestra comunidad para dar información,
when we touch the doors or knock on the doors of our community to give them information,
que se supone que debería ser la ciudad la que dé la información, no una organización,
when in reality it should be the city that gives out the information.
la comunidad conteste muy decepcionada,
The community answers in a disapproving way.
que ellos quieren venir a dar su opinión
They want to come and give their opinion,
y se sienten ignorados.
and they feel ignored.
Porque cada vez que venimos a traer nuestras preocupaciones,
Every time we come and express our concerns,
ya tienen el voto decidido.
we have the votes already decided,
Y eso es muy injusto.
and that's unjust.
Porque las personas que venimos aquí también tenemos nuestro tiempo.
Because the people who come here also have things to do with their time.
Venimos a ver lo que ocurre afuera en nuestra comunidad.
We come to see what's happening in our community.
Nosotros estamos trabajando en este momento con la organización de Tree People,
We're working with the Tree People organization,
que viene para todo el año para traer árboles a la ciudad de Rialto.
who come every year to bring trees to the city of Rialto.
Sería el segundo año.
Will be the second year,
Pero cada día tenemos menos espacios verdes para poder plantar árboles.
but every day we have less green spaces to plant those trees.
Tratamos de traer oxígeno
We try to bring oxygen
y áreas verdes para nuestra comunidad.
and green spaces for the
Lugares
community.
donde nuestra comunidad pueda sentirse tranquila.
Places where the community can feel at
Donde
rest,
encuentren un lugar donde ellos puedan tener paz.
where they can find peace,
Y la verdad no lo hemos encontrado con nuestros líderes de nuestra ciudad.
and we have not found that with the leaders of our city.
Esperamos un cambio
We hope for a change,
y esperamos que ustedes se pongan en nuestros zapatos
and we hope that you guys follow in
y
our
que la
footsteps,
comunidad no se siente como se siente en estos momentos, decepcionada.
and the community does not feel like they feel now, which is disillusioned.
Invitamos a demasiada gente, llamamos muchas personas de nuestra ciudad
We invite many people, we call on many people in the
y
community,
su respuesta es, ¿para qué? Nos ignoran.
and they say, why? Because we're ignored.
Y eso es muy triste escuchar eso,
And it's sad to hear
porque
this,
no nos corresponde a nosotros como organización escuchar eso,
because it doesn't respond or correlate to how we are as an organization.
sino cuando invitemos a nuestra comunidad a que participen a las ciudades, a los proyectos de la ciudad,
When we invite the community to participate in the projects,
vengan con aquella alegría de querer participar
they come with the excitement of participation,
y no con la desilusión de que no van a ser escuchados.
and not the disillusion that they will be unheard.
Entonces, por favor, esto es bien importante porque esta decisión que van a tomar hoy
And this is very important because the decision that you're about to make
es para la salud de nuestros hijos y de nuestras familias.
is about the health of our family and our communities.
Entonces, queremos que por favor tomen la mejor decisión.
So please make the better decision.
Recuerden, como les dije la vez pasada, ustedes también viven aquí.
Remember, like I said last time, you also live here.
Entonces, esperamos un cambio. Muchas gracias por su tiempo.
We hope for a change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
Yes, we have Maria Mendez. Maria Mendez.
Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Velázquez.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Velasquez.
Estoy aquí orgullosamente de representar mi ciudad de Rialto.
I am here proudly representing the city of Rialto.
He estado aquí por 37, 38 años ya.
I've been here for 37, 38 years.
Tal vez no viene al caso, pero amo la ciudad y no me pienso mover por un buen rato.
Maybe I don't come often, but I love it here and I don't plan on leaving.
So, esta noche estoy aquí para comunicarme con ustedes,
Here tonight, I'm here to speak to you.
que me gustaría mucho que
I would really
pusieran también su parte como igual que nosotros.
That you, as well as the community,
Yo más que nada estoy aquí por lo que está pasando, el tema que tocó Claudia Cuevas.
I'm here in response to the theme that Claudia spoke about.
Yo vivo en la Pepper y la Eriwanda
I live by Pepper and Etowanda,
y quisiera que este caso de los trailers, de las fábricas, de todo eso que se está involucrando en este instante,
and that this issue regarding trucks and warehouses in this moment,
se tomara muy en serio el tema.
that the subject would be taken seriously.
Honestamente, yo he tenido estas 2 semanas 5 casos que casi me andan pegando ahí en el cruce de Eriwanda y Pepper.
In the last 2 weeks, I've had 5 instances where I've almost been struck at that intersection of Pepper and Etowanda.
No exagero, el de hace 8 días, 1 pulgada de distancia para que me pegaran.
I don't exaggerate, I was 1 inch away from being hit.
Lo que hice me dio mucho coraje, les comparto aquí.
What happened gives me a lot of anger, I'll share with you.
Vivo ahí a 1 cuadra y llegué a la casa.
I live a block away and I was on my way home.
Pero con mi instinto de coraje, yo me regresé otra vez ahí al cruce.
But with my anger, I returned to the intersection
Y me puse a grabar 15 minutos el cruce de esa intersección.
and I began filming for 15 minutes the traffic at the intersection.
Y yo me quedé sorprendida y me pregunté o me comenté a mí misma,
And I was surprised and I said to myself,
si alguien de ustedes se tomara esos minutitos en ir a esa intersección, se darían cuenta el peligro que hay ahí.
if you took the same amount of time observing that intersection, you would see the danger.
Tenemos la escuela Myers, tenemos la otra escuela que está sobre Riwanda entre Pepper y Eucaliptus. Tenemos la otra escuela que es la Frisbee, que está muy pegada a la Pepper.
So Myers, Frisbee, and another school also all on Pepper and Etowanda are nearby.
Y todos nuestros niños están corriendo un grave peligro al estar pasando esos camiones de carga pesada.
All of our children are in danger by being near these trucks that are heavy duty.
Más que nada es en el tema que yo me enfoco porque sí es muy peligroso ahí.
This subject I'm focusing on because this intersection is particularly dangerous.
Y lo último que les quiero compartir que la sala está muy vacía.
And the last thing I want to say is that this room is very empty.
Que nuestra comunidad merece esa comunicación de la ciudad hacia la comunidad.
That the community deserves the respect of the communication towards them.
Que la comunidad sepa qué es lo que está pasando en nuestra ciudad.
That the community is aware of the things happening within the city.
Que nuestra comunidad tenga esa alegría de incorporarse a lo que sucede en la comunidad.
The community feels the need to be involved or the joy to be involved.
Donde se sientan orgullosos de decir yo soy parte de Rialto.
Where they feel the pride to say that I am a part of Rialto.
Entonces, pues es todo de mi parte. Sí me gustaría tomen en cuenta nuestras, tal vez no sean grandes opiniones,
So maybe these aren't grand opinions, but we would like that you take these into account.
pero hay mucho que decir, hay mucho que hacer y hay mucho en que trabajar.
There's a lot to be said and done around this.
Les agradezco que me hayan escuchado. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Gracias.
One more.
Would
We
you
have-
call the next person?
Mervyn Norman. I'm not understanding your first name, but I know his last name is Norman.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the public and council. Marvin Norman with CCAJ as well. I'm here again to speak on tab 2. As Mr. Jesus said, we were unfortunately the moratorium ended, but I guess all good things that must end, right? So we have the tab in front of us, and you know it's good to see that the city is moving forward with this, and we know other cities in the area, despite as Daniel mentioning that it's you know kind of have no choice, I guess, but other cities still seem to think they have a choice. So we're glad Rialto is at least moving forward with these AB 98 changes. I'm sure you guys know we glad to see these changes. We wish there was more, but it's good that is what it is. And so hopefully, you know, this will help the city move forward. I know, thankfully, Rialto hasn't turned into what some of the neighbors are in terms of getting overrun with warehouses, and especially what happened in Bloomington and you know, targeting entire communities and taking them out. And so, you know, some of these provisions, like the replacement, are based on what has happened in Bloomington, even at Fontana as well. So we're glad that these are moving forward at this time in the city, and you know, it's you guys aren't waiting to the last moment to get it done, like we see other people doing. And so we'd like Rialto to, you know, think of these and think of ways that maybe how you can strengthen them. I mean, as others have mentioned, we're running out of green space in the city, and so, you know, we good to be able to put a kind of put a brake on it and keep it regulated as well. I'd also like to mention, I noticed that you guys had that special report from the California Business Roundtable on AB 98 attached in there as well, which was an interesting read. It was very interesting to see that they try to claim that warehouse employment is providing the same sort of income as like $85,000 a year, and that's fanciful. I'm sure a lot of the warehouse workers would love to get $85,000 a year. I know I'm sure some warehouses maybe get that, maybe like the Stater Brothers warehouse or something, some of these more upper scale or known good warehouses, but a lot of warehouse workers don't get that that sort of that reality, and a lot of people don't even get the security of a real like job security. They're temps and get pushed in and out as willy-nilly. And so I don't know where that report came from, but we're always told that any economist knows have a comparative advantage, and we're always told that the Inland Empire, our comparative advantage is that we're closer to ports. So the truth of the matter is that Arizona is not closer to ports. They're not going to move to Arizona because of AB 98. They might move for other reasons, like there are more people in Arizona, so they want to be closer to those customers in Arizona. I know at sites like the Port of Savannah is expanding, but warehouses aren't moving to Savannah because of AB 98. They're moving to Savannah because of the Port of Savannah is expanding. So, that report is an interesting read, but I think it's very, very, very tilted in that it's trying to again AB 98 already passed, and so you guys are following the letter of the law. That's good, but it's interesting to see a report that is obviously has some questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members?
That's the last application to fill out to speak. So no, there's no other speakers.
Okay, seeing no other speaker, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing? Motion been made by Carla Perez, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott. Now we'll move it to the council for discussion.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Oh, all those in favor of closing the public hearing? Signify by saying aye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now we'll move it to the council members for any questions. Daniel, would you please come up? Go ahead.
Daniel, in this ordinance, do we have any items in here that are more stringent than the requirements of AB 98?
We have some provisions in here, in the city's existing ordinance that are more stringent than AB 98, that's correct.
And can you briefly tell us what those are?
A lot of architectural design elements, landscape elements, yes, various criteria.
And we also, as far as electric charging stations for small vehicles, we're now requiring them in any new commercial project, correct?
That's correct.
Versus the state requirement of just putting the conduit.
That's correct.
And then they're at a future date. So in a lot of respects, we're ahead of other cities. And I'm proud that Rialto has kind of been ahead of everybody on this stuff. Even with the moratorium we had, we wanted to take a look at zoning and make sure that there were areas that were impactful to residential, that we addressed those areas. And then I know several years ago we instituted the trucks not be parked towards residential, so that's been our policy for a long time. Additionally, distances from housing to warehouses, we've always had a larger distance than most other of our surrounding cities. So I want to commend you and your staff for bringing that stuff forward in the past and moving forward with this item tonight. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I have a couple of comments, Daniel, in reference to AB 98. And one of the questions that I have is that as I look at the development standards for new expand indoor storage facilities with 250 square feet or more size of industrial size, loading within 900 feet, do these requirements affect warehouses that are being built in Rialto right now, this law?
Not ones that would be currently under constructed, no.
Okay. Then my other question would be, well, I'm glad we're taking a proactive stand in reference to AB 98. Is there current legislation that is currently being debated in Sacramento that may impact some additional changes? And then how are we going to implement those changes that are required?
Thank you, Mayor. I can address that. So we are currently working with the city's lobbyists to monitor the bill that's moving through Sacramento right now. There are some changes in regards to AB 98, but it's more on the city implementation side as far as amending the transportation element and certain requirements as far as new projects coming in, being able to provide or being required to provide truck route paths and the way that that would be communicated out. There's nothing in the current version of the bill as of this morning that would require us to come back and amend this section of the code again, at least not in this version.
But if there is, then we're prepared to implement any changes that may occur. Is that correct? I
Yes,
just want
sir.
to make sure that we're in compliance, and it's good that we're taking the proactive stand right now and making the changes that are there. So I knew that there was a bill that was pending, and that there were going to be some changes to AB 98. I just want to make sure that we comply with those regulations, that they're implemented. And my last question would be just out of curiosity, in reference to, you mentioned that any warehouses that were built prior to September 24th, are those already grandfathered in that won't have to meet all of these requirements or a portion of these requirements? Those
Yes.
warehouses that we have that are currently empty and not occupied at this point?
That is correct, yeah. Any existing facility would not be subject to these provisions unless they were proposing an expansion of 20% or more of their current floor area.
Okay. And last but not least, in reference to a lot of the changes, I hope that that under community development, that all of the staff gets orientated in terms of these requirements, because as you began to meet, and also that we provide an orientation to the Planning Commission too, as well as they begin to start looking at approving or disapproving any potential development in the city, especially as it pertains to warehouses, is that they're at least well informed. So this way they can make a good decision in terms of whether to move that project forward or not. And so I want to make sure that the training is also done for them, along with all of the staff that's responsible as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. With that, are there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Carla Perez, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Roll call.
Roll call?
Yes, I'll do a roll call, but just for correction, within the ordinance, that staff is going to bring that back to,
Yes.
is there any change in the ordinance that we have here, City Attorney?
It's a scrivener's error, which can be made by the clerk. The change after it's approved, it's just a change to one of the numbers in the code section.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Councilmember Perez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Caricelis,
Aye.
Councilmember Montoya,
Aye.
Mayor Baca.
Aye.
And can I have the maker of the ordinance read it into the record, please?
Yes, ordinance number 1703, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Rialto, California, amending portions of Chapter 18.112, indoor storage uses of the Rialto Municipal Code for compliance with California State Assembly Bill 98, reading by title only and waiving full reading thereof.
Thank you.
Motion carries. We move on to tab 3.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. The item before you requests your approval of a funding agreement with the County of San Bernardino to support 2 significant community projects. One is the Carl Johnson Center Gym upgrade, and the other is the Ferguson Park resurfacing and conversion. On July 28th, the city submitted a funding request to Supervisor Joe Baca Jr.'s office for these two priority projects. I am pleased to share that on August 20th, the county approved our request, providing a combined $323,000 in funding support. The first project focuses on Carl Johnson Center Gym, a cornerstone of our youth and community recreation in Rialto. The courts are in urgent need of resurfacing, the walls require painting, and most critically, 2 manual winches failed, leaving basketball backboards stuck in place over the bleachers. This poses not only a functional limitation, but also a safety concern for athletes and spectators. The project scope includes resurfacing the gym floor, painting the interior, installing new bleachers, and replacing outdated manual winches with more modern electric systems. The Carl Johnson Center hosts 3 full seasons of youth basketball annually, with hosting about 376 games and a thriving girls volleyball program with over 300 games annually. Each year, the gym serves close to 500 young athletes, plus countless family members and spectators. The improvements will ensure that the facility continues to serve as a safe, welcoming hub for mentorship, teamwork, and community pride. The second project addresses Ferguson Park, one of our most utilized outdoor recreation spaces. The basketball and tennis courts have deteriorated due to heavy community use, creating slippery and unsafe conditions. This project will resurface 2.5 basketball courts, replace 3 basketball posts and backboards, resurface 1 tennis court, and convert another tennis court into 4 permanent pickleball courts. Ferguson Park is not only the home to daily recreational users, but also serves as the home field for the Rialto Panthers Junior All-American Football Program and hosts signature community events such as Movies in the Park and the annual Juneteenth celebration. These upgrades will ensure that the park continues to meet the needs of our diverse and growing community. The city has already committed to 25% of the total project costs, with $113,000 allocated from CDBG funding for the Carl Johnson Gym and $100,000 in city funding for Ferguson Park. The county's contribution funding of $323,000 will help complete these 2 projects. Staff recommends that City Council approve the funding agreement with San Bernardino County and adopt resolution number 8405, amending the capital improvement program to appropriating $323,000 for the Carl Johnson Gym and the Ferguson Park projects. And then authorize the city manager to execute any necessary documents. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Mayor, Councilor, we had a presentation with this item.
Go at this time, would Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. like to address the floor, or would you like us to vote for it first?
However you want, Mayor. Your city.
Pardon me? Move for approval. Okay, a motion's been made by Andy Caraceres, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none. So at this time, we'll call on Supervisor Joe Baca Jr., San Bernardino County.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to be here. Honored guests, city residents. It's great to be here in the city of Rialto, our hometown. But really want to thank everyone for the great work they're doing for the city of Rialto. And I think one of the things that's becoming more challenging as we continue to move through tough economic times is really having partnership and collaboration. That is just so critical among regional partners, because money's going to get harder to come by, and it's important that we work together. But any differences aside, whatever you feel personally, it's really about the region, it's about our city, and it's about our county. And I think that's important to understand. But I just want to talk about some of the investments that we've made here with the city of San Bernardino. We're proud of the Rialto Police Department that's made great strides with the Rialto Police Station, which we're excited this fall to be completed. But we just want to thank the city of Rialto for their matching funds for the $1.4 million for the real-time crime lab, which is going to improve technology. And I believe in conversations with Chief Kling, I think the next closest real-time crime lab is in Beverly Hills. So this is a great advancement for our law enforcement and technology here in the city of Rialto. We've also partnered on other ventures. It's for the utility vehicles, off-road vehicles with $162,000. We've also worked with the fire department, $150,000 for the emergency response vehicle. We worked on a joint project with the Easton and Cactus Streetlight, which has been a combined project that we worked together on. Also, we're working with the $2 million with the Rialto Unified School District for the International Healing Garden, which should be finished this fall, which is a great asset to not only the school district, but the Rialto community. The other thing we're working on is the median project in the El Rancho Verde community, which is county unincorporated, but it does enter the River Ranch community, so those residents from the Rialto River Ranch can see a beautiful median as they're coming in and out of the El Rancho Verde community. We've invested $700,000 in the Rialto Library. We've also had conversations with the Carter Library, and we're doing some improvements at Carter High School, and we're also looking at doing some improvements at the current library, which people don't realize that the county runs the services there, but the building's owned by the city of Rialto. So I really want to thank the city of Rialto for doing that. But these are great investments. These are great partnerships that the county has been able to make in not only the city of Rialto, but the Rialto School District, and even within the Rialto community and of our sphere of influence. The other thing, I want to thank Cynthia, I want to thank the staff, I want to thank the mayor and Tanya. We had the opportunity to meet and talk about the investments that you just recently approved. The $323,000, which is 75% that the county's providing, and the city's offering a 25% match, which is a great partnership. And this is great for the Johnson Center, which is heavily used, as Cynthia mentioned. A lot of basketball goes on year-round, volleyball. As a matter of fact, my daughter's got volleyball practice there at 8 o'clock. But it's a great investment, a well-used facility, and over time, it just wear and tear. It wears down. So these investments are going to make some much-needed improvements. I want to congratulate the city of Rialto for their great Hall of Fame, but also the great improvements that they made to the flooring, so good work. And also, it was mentioned the other investments at Ferguson Park for future pickleball courts. As you know, interests change and things change. You know, pickleball was not heard of 20, 30 years ago, but as the need and demand goes for it, I thank the city of Rialto for making those investments to meet the demand of our community. So on behalf of the County Board of Supervisors, we're here to support the city of Rialto as a good community partner, and want to thank you for matching the $323,000 investment that the County of San Bernardino is making here. And on behalf of the County Board of Supervisors, we'd like to invite the mayor and council for a photo shoot and a ceremonial check for $323,000. So congratulations, City of Rialto. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations.
I'm not home. I'm taking notes.
In behalf of the city of Rialto, we want to thank Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. for the generous contribution, and we look forward to his continued support of the city of Rialto on many other activities that we have. Isn't that right, city council members?
Absolutely.
Now we'll move on to tab number 4.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. The item before you tonight is the consideration of awarding a contract to Carbon Health for pre-employment and occupational health program services in the amount not to exceed $240,000, and to authorize the city manager to execute all contract documents. On May 9th, the city released a request for proposals soliciting bids for occupational health, including pre-employment medical evaluations for our safety and non-safety employees. In response to the RFP, the city received a single proposal. To ensure a thorough and objective review, a panel of 5 evaluation committee members from the police, fire, and public works departments carefully reviewed the submission and conducted an interview with the vendor. After this comprehensive review, the committee unanimously determined that Carbon Health demonstrated the qualifications, experience, and resources to fully meet the city's needs that as outlined, as outlined in the RFP. Carbon Health has extensive experience in providing occupational health and employment-related medical services to municipalities and large public agencies similar to that of the city of Rialto. Their expertise encompasses a full range of services, including pre-employment and return-to-work evaluations, public safety physicals for our sworn officers, drug and alcohol testing, post-exposure evaluations, and other customizable ancillary services. The 2025-26 budget has allocated sufficient funds to cover these services, so no additional budget appropriation is needed. This concludes my presentation. I have Allison Bright, the clinic manager from Carbon Health, available, as well as myself, to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions?
Move approval.
Motion's been made
Second.
by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Andy Caraceres. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, we move on to tab number 5.
Mayor, I'll take that item. This is an administrative item that we bring to the council every 2 years. State law provides for a consideration of an increase in local elected official salaries. That would include the mayors, the council members, the elected clerk, and the elected treasurer. State law provides that a maximum of 10% can be provided in an increase over that salary over the 2 years. The ordinance that we have provided in item 5 would allow for that adjustment. The total adjusted figures can be found on page 2 of the staff report under the application section. This is consistent with state law. We typically adopt it in the off year, which would be 2025. This ordinance would not go into effect until December 15th of 2026. That's when these numbers would be implemented. In addition to this, the council does have mandated ethics training that has to occur as part of this salary. We are compliant with that and have remained compliant with that since that went into effect. If you have any questions about the increase or with regard to state law, I'd be happy to address those.
Andy Caraceres? Okay, are there any questions? Hearing none? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Move for approval.
Move for approval by Councilmember Carla Perez, seconded by Edward Montoya. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Move on to tab 6.
Would you like me to read the title?
Excuse me?
Want me to read the title? Do you-
Or me, or I just need, I'll read it, since you guys
Go ahead.
won't read it. Ordinance number 1704, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Rialto, California, amending section 2.12.030, section 2.12.040, section 2.12.050, and 2.12.060 of the Rialto Municipal Code to adjust the salaries of the mayor, members of the city council, the clerk, and the treasurer. And I have a 5-0 with the motion, Councilmember Perez, and second by Montoya, and it was approved by 5 council members. And guess I'll do my roll call. Councilmember Perez.
Aye.
Montoya, Councilmember Montoya. Aye. Councilmember Caraceres.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Aye.
Mayor Baca.
Aye.
Thank you.
We'll move on to tab number 6.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of council. For your consideration tonight is the award of the baseline storm drain project and associated contracts. This includes adoption of Resolution 8406, amending the 25-26 fiscal budget, awarding a construction contract to CP Construction Company, Inc. in the amount of $29.1 million, authorizing a task order in the amount of $2.9 million with Fountainhead Corporation for the construction management, inspection, and material testing services, approving a fourth amendment for construction phase services to Hewitt Zollers in the amount of $330,000, delegating authority to the city manager to approve contract change orders in the cumulative amount of $1 million, and authorizing the city manager or her designee to execute all related documents. So this project consists of an approximately 2-mile-long storm drain system capturing ultimate flows north of Baseline Road. It's depicted here in the red line at the bottom of the image. So the storm drain line starts at Tamarin Avenue and Baseline Road, the intersection there, and runs along Baseline Road easterly to the Cactus Basin number 3, where it will dump into the basin. The drainage study to the Renaissance Pacific Plan served as the basis for sizing the storm drain project, and the new storm drain will be constructed with a combination of reinforced concrete pipe and reinforced concrete boxes. So this is a pretty substantial project with boxes as large as 6 feet by 12 feet and piping up to 84 inches or 7 feet. So in June this year, the city released an RFB for the project and published the notice of inviting bids on planetbids.com. On July 31st, the city received 9 bids. A complete bid summary is attached to your report as attachment 2, and these bids range from $29 million to $46 million. The lowest responsible and responsive bid was approximately $29 million submitted by CP Construction. Staff reviewed the bid and found CP Construction to be properly licensed and qualified. Included in tonight's request, staff also has a request for construction phase services with Hewitt Zollers and construction management, inspection, and material testing with Fountainhead. Because the estimated construction time frame of 2 years, there will be a significant impact on the residents, visitors, and businesses of Rialto. Included in tonight's request is a public outreach component consisting of informational outlets specific to this project, including items such as a 1-800 number, a website, door knockers with physical outreach to the neighboring businesses and the residents, distribution of the project information, text messaging services, direct telephone services, and email alerts. Also is called out in the mitigated negative declaration, at least one lane of traffic in both directions of Baseline will remain open during construction. This slide here outlines the financials that will fund the project. So the project is currently being proposed or is funded through the storm drain development impact fee with an initial allocation of $12.5 million. Of that amount, the project has a remaining budget of approximately $11.7 million. So to accommodate the full scope of administration, construction, and support services, staff recommends appropriating an additional $21.1 million from the DIF fund and $500,000 from the Capital Project Fund. The request for service by Fountainhead Corporation in the amount of $2.9 million and the Fourth Amendment for construction phase services to Hewitt Zollers in the amount of $330,000 will be funded from the storm drain DIF account. Additionally, staff recommends delegating authority to the city manager to approve a contract change or to approve contract change orders in the cumulative amount of $1 million, funded by $500,000 from storm drain DIF and $500,000 from the Capital Project Fund. Thank you, and that concludes my presentation. I have representatives from Hewitt Zollers, I'll get it out, CP Construction, as well as Fountainhead. And if you get too technical, I'll have to call up the engineer to answer some of those questions for you.
Okay, any members wish to ask a question? Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott?
I don't really have a question, I just have a comment. This is a long-awaited, long-over-needed project for I don't know how many years. We've battled this, so I'm glad to see us finally moving forward. And I think it's important that the community know that this will resolve the flooding at Cedar, Ayala, and Baseline, and all along Baseline. So this is a huge project for us and a very great project for us, and I would gladly move approval.
Motion's been made by Mayor
Second.
Pro Tem Ed Scott, seconded by Andy Caraceres. Any discussion? Edward?
Yes, I have some comments. Yep. Thank you, Mayor. My concern is with the dust control and the daily sweeps. I'm very concerned about a lot of the projects that are going on in the city with minimal supervision, where I'm going through the project and it's a mess. It's 7 p.m., everybody's gone. And quite frankly, I think that not only us, our staff's not taking a look at that, but also I see the line here for almost $3 million for Fountainhead. So I just want to make sure that, considering this 2-year project, that we really take a close look at you know, their daily sweeps, and that the residents there in the neighborhood are just the least amount of impact to them, and considering there's a lot of homes in that area as well.
Right. Yeah, and we have representatives from both company, and they hear you loud and clear, as well as staff. So,
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? If not, motion's been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you very much. That concludes all of the items for discussion at this time. Then we'll move on to council's report. Do you want them to read the whole thing? We'll move on. First of all, we'll start on council member. We'll go to my left. Last time I started with my right. So at this time, we'll call on council member Edward Montoya.
Yes, sir. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the mayor for bringing to our attention the Veterans Memorial. Him and I had discussed this, a Veterans Memorial, on my very first day here in the council, and I'm glad to hear that he's wanting to bring it forward. So thank you for that. I think we should sit down and discuss a location, maybe with the Veterans Committee or something. But I think we should discuss a location other than the cemetery. But I think we should talk about it. But thank you for that. Second, I was pretty busy last couple weeks, but I want to highlight a ribbon cutting that happened this past weekend for Billy Corners Leather. The mayor and I both attended, and it's right across the street, a little leather shop, leather belts, leather purses, and all things made leather. So if you're in town, you like leather, go check out Billy Corner. We also attended the Rialto Sports Hall of Fame. The mayor and I were both there. But I want to highlight, I received an email from the son of a Marine Corps Vietnam veteran. The veteran's name is Stephen Riley, and I believe a couple others here on the council received this same email, but he's a lifelong Rialto resident, and he was chosen to participate in an honor flight. And this honor flight was flying from Iowa to Washington, D.C., where he's going to get off and visit memorials in the D.C. area. And I just wanted to highlight him. I think that's an honor for a veteran to be able to be chosen for something like that. And I think it's really awesome. Lastly, I would like to invite everyone out to an October 8th event here in the city of Rialto at Rialto City Park. It is called the Veterans Stand Down. It's at Rialto City Park, 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's a collaborative event with San Bernardino County, the DA's office, the Public Defender's office, San Bernardino County VA, Rialto PD, San Bernardino Superior Court, and the City of Rialto. And we will be providing resources for veterans, for the homeless community. We will be providing Veterans Treatment Court as well as Shelter Court. And I have coordinated with the Rialto High School, ROTC. The Rialto High School principal has authorized us to utilize some of their students and their transportation. They will be helping us with the flag detail and various details throughout the day. We only expected them to have a couple of hours, but the principal has authorized the entire day for them to come volunteer for us. And so I would just like to invite veterans or community members, come on out October 8th, Rialto City Park. Thank you. That is all.
Okay, thank you. Council Member Carla Perez,
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report.
Council Member Andy Caraceres,
Nothing to report.
Council, Mayor Pro Tem Ed Scott.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. I just want to echo a couple of the same things that were just mentioned earlier. Councilmember Edward Montoya and I did attend the leather shop. It's called Billy's Corner Custom Shop. It's located really across from the clerk's office. We had the ribbon cutting. It was a good event to have a new business come into the city of Rialto. Anytime that we're promoting a business, we should do as much as we can to make sure that that business is successful. As I stated that day, I says, if it's successful, that means that there's a lot more sales tax that comes in, which means a lot more revenue for their city. So that's what we got to keep in mind when we look at a new business. It's about, and then of course our financial director over here says, that's right, he's nodding his head. That's make sure that we can pay the bills. So we encourage new businesses to come into the city of Rialto, and hopefully we can continue to get others that will come in. Also like to report that I took a trip with our city manager, Tanya Williams, our assistant city manager, Tim Sullivan, and our community development director, Christina Taylor. We went and visited the 5 annex areas that we're looking at the possibility if we do annex in terms of the future. So I encourage those that have not gone to look at those areas to also look at the annexations in terms of where they're located in the area, what's been done to improve those areas, and what has not been done, and what needs to be done, because that's a cost or a burden that will be on our responsibility if we decide to incorporate those 5 areas there. So I want to thank the city manager, assistant city manager, and our community director for going on that trip and taking that tour with me. Also, we attended the city council member Edward Montoya and I attended the Hall of Fame. I'd like to congratulate Cynthia Alvarado on doing an excellent job and putting it together. I think the work that was done and the people that attended, and the 2 individuals, one was, his name is Jackie, or Joseph Jackie Lucas, was one of the awardees, and the other one, he's, well, by the way, just saying a little bit about him, he was an individual that was all CIF, played football and basketball and baseball for Rialto, Eisenhower High, and took him to the CIF, and they completed in that area, came all the way from Arizona. The other individual that I'm very proud of, that he also was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that's Ricardo, called El Niño Sandoval. He's a lightweight, heavyweight boxer, and I think that's the first time that we've had someone from the city of Rialto that's a world champion. And that's quite an honor that they live right here in our city. And not only is he there, but he also encourages many other youth to be involved, and he's volunteering his time and encouraging others to get involved in boxing too as well. And I think it's good in terms of what the council member, Andy Caraceres, has always talked about a healthy Rialto, so it's always good to be actively involved and participate in that area. And also like to say that we met, the assistant city manager and I and Shaima were together in reference to a workability program that they want to implement here in the city of Rialto with a lot of the special need children that go to, I shouldn't say children, adults, 16 and above to 22, that go to Rialto Unified School District, and the possibility of getting in and participate. And last but not least, I heard you loud and clear, Council Member Edward Montoya, in reference to the committee. I'd like to state that there are 3 members of us that served in the military, and not only has Council Member Edward Montoya been in the military, but we also have Ed Carrillo, who served in the military, that's on that committee. And hopefully, Barbara, we can schedule a meeting and we can coordinate and look at where we might want to place that memorial in terms of the future, whether it's at the cemetery or whether it's some other place. I think we're all open to looking at where the best location may be in honoring many of our veterans who have served our country here in the city of Rialto. And that concludes my report. So at this time, I'll move on to the city clerk, Barbara McGee.
I don't have a report because Cynthia is going to mention it and what's going on in Rialto. So.
Okay, thank you. Edward Carrillo, our city treasurer.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Our city manager, Tanya Williams.
No report this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Eric Vale, our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. No report this evening.
Our acting police chief, captain, since Mark is still in Klein on vacation, I believe.
Yes, sir. He's on a well-deserved and uncharacteristic vacation. Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council, just a snapshot of the police activity for the month of August. We had 7,163 calls for service handled, 4,279 officer-initiated calls, 450 arrests, and 1,237 reports taken. The increased activity and the efforts by the police department are a direct result from your obvious support and continued investment in public safety, and for that we appreciate you, and the community certainly appreciates you and notices the increase in safety. So thank you for that. And then another reminder that our lobby hours are now open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday from 8 to 7, so that individuals can get off of work and make it into the lobby and be served by the police department, and then Saturday from 8 to 12. And then upon receipt of the new station, we plan to be open 7 days a week to serve the community better.
Do we have a pinning ceremony that's coming up shortly?
I'm not too sure about a pinning ceremony. Oh, we do.
Promotion.
We have a promotional ceremony on the 16th, sir. Yes, from captain all the way down to corporal.
Okay.
Several new promotees.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call on our acting fire chief, Jensen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few updated items. Last week we held a leadership summit for the executive and command staff, focusing on leadership. I've also been working with Cal OES and FEMA on our EOC grant. Lastly, I attended the San Bernardino County Fire Chiefs meeting August 28th, where we discussed a lot of local, regional, and state level items that we were updated on that are happening throughout the state and the fire service.
Next, call on our assistant city manager, Tim Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor. Just really quick, this Friday and Saturday, household hazardous waste is open from 8 a.m. to noon. That's at 246 South Willow. And since we like to celebrate birthdays here, I do believe it's California's 175th birthday today. So happy birthday to California.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on Director of Community Development, Christina Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on our Parks Recreation Director, Cynthia Alvarado.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. Here's what's going on in Rialto. Rialto Fitness and Aquatic Center's open house is going on this week from September 8th through the 13th. Senior Health and Wellness Expo will be Wednesday, September 10th at Grace Vargas Senior Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Our volleyball season opening day for Division II will be Thursday, September 11th at the Carl Johnson Center at 6:30 p.m. And then Division I will be Friday at, September 11th, Carl Johnson at 5:30 p.m. Youth basketball fall season opening day will be September 30th at the Carl Johnson Center at 10 a.m. Birdsall Park cleanup will be Saturday, September 13th at Birdsall Park from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Tiny Tots Fun Fair for the September participants will be held on Friday, September 19th at the Carl Johnson Center from 4 to 6 p.m. Our San Bernardino Senior Olympics will be hosted their Swim Olympics here at our Tom Sawyer Pool on Saturday, September 20th from 12 to 5 p.m. Rialto's Petapalooza and Pollution Prevention Fair will be held Saturday, September 20th here at the City Clerk parking lot from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Viva La Fiesta will be Saturday, September 27th at Jerry Eves from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. And then, of course, our save the dates for coming up in October. Move with Mad will be Saturday, October 4th at Joe Sampson. The event starts at 7 a.m. Councilmember Montoya mentioned the Veteran Stand Down event, which will be October 8th at Rialto City Park from 10 to 2 p.m. Our Floating Pumpkin Patch will be Saturday, October 18th at Tom Sawyer Pool from 4 to 8 p.m. And our Halloween hijinks will be Friday, October 31st at Birdsall Park from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on Director of Finance, Scott Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. No update.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on a Human Resource Director, Shima.
I have nothing to report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I guess that concludes everyone, right? We still have not got a replacement for our Director of Utilities. When we have that, we do. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion's been
Second.
made by Carla Perez to adjourn, seconded by Councilmember Edward Montoya. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions? Hearing none. Council's adjourned.
residentes de Rialto, tenemos noticias muy buenas justo a tiempo para la temporada de natación. Clases de natación en la piscina Tom Sawyer están ahora disponibles a un costo reducido gracias a una subvención de la Fundación LA84. A través de nuestro programa de becas acuáticas, la mayor parte del costo está cubierto, por lo que es más fácil de nunca para aprender a nadar. Los aplicantes deben tener entre 5 y 17 años para calificar. Las sesiones duran 2 semanas. Para inscribirse, visite la piscina Tom Sawyer y rellene la aplicación de becas. Pero no esperes, el espacio es limitado y las clases se llenan muy rápido. Consulta las fechas de inscripción para ver cuándo puedes inscribirte en la próxima sesión. La piscina Tom Sawyer ya está extendiendo el horario de las clases de natación, ofreciendo más clases de natación y la celebración de clases de 4 días a la semana, de lunes a jueves. Estamos aquí para ayudarle a chapotear con seguridad.